Hey, good morning. I'm a hot mess. It's hot and humid, another sunny day. I already have foundation and some blush, lipstick. No, what is this? It's like a cream eyeshadow that I got. I got it because I heard Rose talking about it. So I used it on my lips, my eyelids, my cheeks. I just want a tiny bit more. Let's see. And so it's so hot and humid out. Took the dogs out. Frankie found a baby bunny. Oh, it always breaks my heart when he does that. Breaks my heart. I'm telling you. So I wanted to talk to you about something that I see a lot in in my clients. I get a lot of clients who've had poor, no judgment on your parents, I'm just saying, poor guidance from their parents growing up. Excuse me. And then trauma on top of it, being disappointed by people you're supposed to be able to trust. So your young brain just isn't quite working around it real well. And then on top of it, one negative relationship after another, which reinforces your worthlessness, right? So what happens is, when we feel helpless, we fight, flight, or freeze, or fawn. That flirtatious, sweetness, softness, motherly behaviors. Well, I generally attract clients for some reason. There's a lot more clients, maybe just across the board. I haven't researched it, but in my practice, I've had a lot more fight than anything else. And how would I say, fight, flight, freeze. So fight, flight, or freeze, and fawn. Women tend to have a combination of all of them. It's just which style of reaction in the PTSD is causing the most damage. That's what you want to look at, in my opinion. I'm going to show you how I'm going to do my eyebrows, because I just put on that dark eyeshadow after I put on that under eye stuff, and now I've got these dark circles under my eyes. Damn it to hell. That was hilarious. Okay, we're going to try that again. Okay, so what happens is then there's this anger response, and which can get kind of dangerous because it can super affect how other people will respond to you. And after a while, people lose their places to live. You know, if they live with roommates and they're just tired of the overreactions and the stress in the home. If it's a family member that's saying, you know, you got to find a place to live. This is not working. I'm going to go from, if it almost looks like if I had eyebrows, this is kind of where they'd be, kind of thing. So that's what I'm doing here. I had some eyebrow templates before, but I'm telling you, if you get them crooked, it doesn't work very well. And I use this. You can get these off of any packing. They come in a lot. I get them. Lots of stuff is packed with little cardboards. So that's how I do it. And I just use a color that is fairly close to most of the colors in my eyebrows. I quit trying to match it to my hair. Because when I went from being a redhead to a kind of a strawberry blonde to gray white blonde, there's too many white eyebrows aren't working for me. So I tried so many things, and one of my sweethearts out there mentioned having trouble matching eyebrow colors and spending too much time. And so I just figure I'm gonna match the color of most of my eyebrows. I have white, blonde, black. So I just do it that way. And I just create the tail at the end. Oh my God, she said that she's using Flamingos. The name of her lipstick that she likes so much is Flamingo. I think that is so great. One of my dreams was to have a whole shed full of flamingos so that I can put them in neighbors' yards once in a while, just for fun. Okay, so back to the anger thing. I'm so glad you're here. It's about, see, I wasn't going to do this, but that liquid or that cream eyeshadow started staying up on my hooded eyes. So there you go. So I'm going to have to wipe this off and soften this color up because this is just too dramatic for me today. You got to wipe it off. And I'm just using some powder. So here's the thing. Anger can be it can feel so complicated. And actually, it isn't. Like, there's 100 different ways to dig a hole, right? So, you have to ask yourself, what's the easiest way to stop digging a hole? And sometimes is to simply stop digging. I know, sounds oversimplified. I know. But if you think about that philosophy, I had an old guy in Alcoholics Anonymous. He's passed away now. I'm so lucky I got to meet him. I was like, and then I said this, and then I said that, and then I said this. And he goes, you know, when you're in a hole, sometimes you need to just put down the shovel. Just stop. I need something else. So that was very wise. So I'm going to tell you that when we have PTSD and there's a trigger response, and it happens a lot with people who are, this is that cream eyeshadow. I guess I'm going to use it for a base for powder eyeshadow because I have too much bags for it to not make a mess. But I can use it for lipstick and blush. Not bad. I don't want to use too much more because I'm not on camera today. I do need this. So the challenge is that when somebody is misbehaving or you get triggered by a sight, smell, whatever, the key is to allow the body to process that sort of attack that of brain chemicals that make you want to fight, flight, or freeze, to keep your mouth shut. Be still, be quiet. A lot of marriages are torn apart because people keep making excuses for their behavior. Why did you say that? Why did you do that? I couldn't help myself. You triggered me. Well, there's a point where taking responsibility for your behavior and how you react, and sometimes just shutting your mouth, stop the thoughts, and let the old response, fight, flight, or freeze, or fawn, stop and let your body actually process that feeling. Because normally what happens with people who keep getting triggered over and over again is they stop the process too soon. You can't process something if you stop it. You have to let the momentum of the human body, like a lot of people, check this out, a lot of people have to pee. They're holding it all day long because they keep waiting to reward themselves for getting a job done before they allow themselves to have a human bodily function. That's trauma. Why in the world would anybody, I mean, it's okay to go pee once an hour or once every 2 hours. Especially if you're drinking a lot of water. I don't know. Google it. See how many times a human, on average, goes potty. And then ask yourself, how many times do you do that? Right? Ask yourself or Google, how many times does somebody lose their temper? In a day, a week, a month, a year. Right? I went from losing my temper 60 times a day to, I don't know, not very often. But I also did my work. I mean, I'm not saying I don't get tense, because I do. I still have a response where I suck in my cheeks and have these knots on the inside, or suck the roof of my mouth. But I'm not self-deprecating my life like I used to. And you can have that too. But you have to put in the work. You have to put in the work. There's a book called Courage to Be Yourself. And it talks about processing emotions the way I was just telling you. About being able to stay calm. I can't remember what page it's on, like 84. I don't know. But it's something that I teach clients about themselves and steer them towards that book, because it explains it better than I do. The brain will lie to you and say, I have the right to be mad. I have the right to be on this couch for 15 days in a row for no apparent reason. I have a right to stay in bed and not get my kids off to school. No offense, because sometimes we don't know what we don't know till we know. So whatever it is that you know you feel guilty about, because you know you're not doing something right. I'm happy with it. It looks okay. Not a perfect match on the lips. I like it to match on the inside, but I like this softer color. I don't, especially for days off. Thank you. So what I'm saying is there's no growth without having some guts. Oh, yeah. Now, I also want to add this. This is really important. This is one of the things I wanted to add. Sometimes it's not that we have the right to tear into somebody, especially if we've done it over and over again. We've already had the same 45 record on the record player going round and round and round again. So sometimes it's just like stand there, self-soothe, or take some time, come back, and just say, I got nothing. I don't know what to say. We've already had this conversation, so I think I'll go fix breakfast or whatever. Now, every once in a while, though, if you don't say something, that's why I like say what you mean what you say, and don't say it mean. Sometimes our gut will rot if we're letting ourselves down. The fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. Sometimes we have to be loyal, brave, and true to ourselves. Sometimes we have to say something, even if it's just ouch, even if it's a vent where like if I'm in that situation, like if I get really mad at my husband for something, because he has PTSD and once in a while he reacts. We all do. It's not about being perfect. It's about learning to grow, learning to negotiate, learning to set priorities and commitment. So you do it till you can't do it anymore, right? But once in a while, when I've had it, it's not that I'm being triggered anymore. I haven't been actually triggered in a while. But once in a while, I just get mad. I'm just like, why do you know, and I get some energy up and I say, hey, I need you to listen to me for a minute. Do you have time right now? Because I'm pretty wound up and I need you to hear me. I don't expect you to change. I don't expect you to do anything about it or stop doing anything about it. I just need you to know that I have felt, and then fill in the blank. Sometimes you just got to get it out and just say, you know what? There you go. I'm done talking about that. And then I usually get a couple different things. Sometimes there's a little pushback. Sometimes there's a little defensiveness. And sometimes, which I really like that shows growth, is I get, thank you for sharing. You're right. But you can't get to that place if you don't keep experimenting with changing yourself, right? Not everybody's going to grow. And sometimes it takes years for someone to start responding to you in a healthier way. So that's the truth. Time takes time. And it doesn't matter how much you love somebody. It doesn't matter how much you love somebody. It matters. And it doesn't matter how much you take care of somebody else. It matters, I think, when you've had PTSD and when you've been abandoned, when you've been hurt. Sometimes it's about doing your duties, loyal, brave, and true, but also understanding that, in my opinion, on this universe, I was born in this body at this time to show up for my life, to not be a victim. I don't want to be a victim. I can help. I can do lots of things. I can serve others in a mind state that does not put me in victimhood. Right? Do I like it when people around me that I care about aren't happy? No. Do I let it destroy my life? No. Why? Because why would I value someone else's life more than my own? That would be silly. When I die, I'm dying by myself. They're not dying with me, and they may not even hang out with me when I'm dying. I can tell you that I've worked with death and dying throughout my career, and I can tell you it has not changed. There are some people who cannot and will not stay in the same room with someone who's dying, actively dying. They can't. They won't. And that's okay. But when you think about how much that person who's passing away has done for their friends and family, and they don't have the courage to be in the room when they're making this one of the most important journeys you'll ever make, the most important, they're dying alone. So if you're going to die alone, understand you get to love yourself a little bit better. I don't know. I know that sounds dramatic, but I want you to understand one of the ways I survive, and one of the ways I try to help my clients survive the stress of this world, is that this is your trip on this planet at this time, in this body. Your biggest challenge is going to be your brain, the one who tells you, because of how you were brought up, whether you're good enough or not. Yeah. All right, I gotta go. So yeah, I guess that's kind of where my brain was thinking. I've worked with a lot of clients, especially recently, maybe with the summer heat, summer activities, where they're like, I just want to be heard. I'm like, okay, how many years has it been you've been with this person? How many times have you repeated the same exact words over and over again? Putting that VCR tape, playing it over and over again. Play it to the end. What usually happens, what always happens, is that how you want to continue repeating everything you're doing? Or do you want to try something different and see if, with time, you get a different outcome? It takes a lot of courage to do that. It takes a lot of strength to shut your mouth and say something that you don't normally say. Yeah, kind of a big deal. All right, I'm gonna get ready. Speaking of VCR tapes and 45s, still trying to get rid of things because I'm buying new things. Getting rid of old clothes that I just don't like anymore, and I'm buying some other clothes that I really like, and I know I'm gonna wear for the next several years. So I need to make room, and so I'm going through and thinking, what am I doing with this big box of cassette tapes? I keep thinking I'm gonna listen to them, but I don't. And I have a big box of CDs, a long box, like, and they're not in they're not in cases even. That's how many there are. It's like a foot long and 6 inches wide, and they're all stacked in there. So I'm going to go through all that, see if I can cut back on that. So tell me how you're doing. Tell me if you understand a word of what I said, because I'm just too discombobulated. Tell me if there's a topic you want me to talk about. But otherwise, I'll just keep coming up with stuff. All right, I love you. I want you to have a day that you decide to make. That's interesting, right? Have a nice day. Have a day on purpose. Whatever you do today, do it with intention. Whatever you say today, do it with intention. If you're just babbling, try to have a day where you're not doing that so you can actually hear what you're thinking. And here's a little trick. Pretend your speaker is here when you're talking. I know that sounds weird, but you can feel the vibration move from up here where you're talking really sweet and nice or mean that's over here. Pull it down to where you're talking from your chest. And you'll find that there's less babble and more truth. Loyal, brave, and true. Loyal, brave, and true. I watched Mulan. Oh my God, that was such a good movie. All right, gotta go. Mwah. Bye for now.